This night at Collinwood, Barnabas Collins has reached the spirit of Josette and learned from her that she is not a hostage of the Leviathans. Now he is free to fight the ruthless enemy. And as a first step, he has persuaded Philip Todd to steal the Leviathan box.
Going somewhere, Philip? Isn't it a little too late? Where you going, Philip? You're gonna take that box to someone, weren't you?
Yes.
Who?
I won't tell you.
Well, I know, Philip. You don't have to tell me. I know who you're gonna take it to. There's only one person it could be. Only one person. And he's fooled me for a long time. No more. Barnabas wants this box. He can have it.
What?
But when I'm ready.
I don't understand.
Philip, I'm a very obliging fellow. I give people exactly what they want. You, for instance. You've made it clear from the beginning that what you want is death. You couldn't have been stupid enough to act the way you have from the beginning unless you wanted to die. So I can only assume.
No.
And I'm gonna give you what you want tonight. Right now!
No! Just a minute.
You're lucky, Philip. You're so lucky. But your luck's gonna run out very soon.
Mr. Todd?
Yes.
My name is Lawrence Guthrie. I'm here from the state capitol investigating the unusual aspects of the murders.
I'd heard you were here.
I know it's late, but I'd like to come in.
Of course.
We see your identification, Mr. Guthrie.
This is Jeb Hawks, our boarder.
Now, Mr. Todd, I'd like to ask you a few questions about Paul Stoddard. I'm sure you've already discussed this with Sheriff Davenport, but if you don't mind.
Oh, no, of course not. I'll tell you anything I can. We were all very, very upset about poor Davenport.
Why? When a man dies like that in the line of duty, isn't that the way he wants to go?
Isn't that a rather odd point of view?
You think so?
No, I'm afraid I do. Now, Mr. Todd, how long was Paul Stoddard here on the night of his murder?
Just a few minutes.
Where did he stand?
About where you're standing now.
As far as you know, he didn't go anywhere near that door.
No, unless it was during the time my wife, Megan, came upstairs to get me. Although I don't think so. I think the minute she left the room, he ran out. She said he was in a terribly disturbed state.
Is your wife here?
She's asleep. I'll wait.
No, don't bother. I'll speak to her at another time.
What were those questions about, Mr. Guthrie?
They might not have been about anything, Mr. Hawks. It's too early to tell.
I'd like to know.
I'd like to know a few things, too. May I see your identification?
I wasn't here on the night of the murders.
Yes, I know. Where were you?
Traveling. Cross country.
Business or pleasure?
Both. I'm a photographer.
You must have gotten some interesting pictures.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them someday. I'm an amateur photographer myself. Well, thank you. Good night.
Wait!
What is it?
I was just about to go out. I'll walk away, sweetie.
Philip? You want me to tell Megan that you're going out?
Megan?
Megan might be very upset if you left.
Yes, she might be. I'm sorry, Mr. Guthrie. I'd better stay home. My wife has been a little upset ever since these murders started.
You needn't be upset anymore, Philip. I've changed my mind about killing you. But if you ever get any ideas about betraying me, Megan's going to regret it very much.
What are you drawing, Amy? Why are you drawing that?
Because it's pretty.
Pretty. It's the last thing in the world, I'd call it. What gave you the idea of drawing that anyway?
Mrs. Todd has one on her locket.
Yes. And Philip has one on his ring. I wish I could understand his fascination for everyone. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Don't let him in here!
Amy, there's no reason to be frightened. I know this is the gentleman who frightened you before in the shop, but you were wrong then, and you're wrong now.
No!
Yes, you are.
No!
Amy, why don't you tell me what it is about me that frightens you so much?
You look like the ghost. Like Quentin Collins.
Well, if he does, it's because he's related to the man who frightened him. He's a cousin of ours. His name is Quentin Collins, too, but he's not the same one. Now, of course he isn't. He couldn't be. Quentin, she's being unreasonable about this. I don't quite know what to do.
Well, I do. Why don't you leave us alone for a minute?
No!
Please. I know that this moment will be very painful for her, but it'll be far less painful than the fear of me continuing.
All right, Quentin, if you say so. I'm just going to go up and speak to Mrs. Johnson for a minute.
I'm going to bed.
Amy, Quentin wants to talk to you first.
But I don't want to speak to him.
There's not a reason in the world not to talk to him.
No, Amy. There's not a reason in the world. Hey. Don't turn away from me. Come here. Ah, now look here. Do you feel my hand on your face? Hmm? Well, there's nothing to be afraid of in my hand. Just as there's nothing to be afraid of in me. Oh, I know that once upon a time you were afraid of someone named Quentin Collins. But Amy, I'm not that Quentin Collins. I swear it.
Amazing. Photographs of different places from coast to coast, all taken with the same kind of camera you have.
I have some followers who are loyal enough to get me anything I need.
What do you mean?
But this isn't going to do. That special investigator, he didn't like me. I can tell the way people feel about me. And I'm gonna take care of him.
What if he didn't like you? I mean, you were rude to him. Why should he? But he didn't suspect you. You answered all his questions, and you weren't even here the night Paul Stoddard died.
This is Lawrence Guthrie, Augusta Police. I want everything you can find out about a young man named Jeb Hawkes. Hawkes.
Oh, Jeb!
What's the matter?
I was so frightened.
Of what?
Quentin!
What about Quentin?
Because of what he is. That's why he scared me. I wasn't sure, but now I am. After that dream last night, I knew, I was sure about it. No matter what anyone says.
What did you dream about, Amy?
It was terrible. David was missing, and I went into this room and heard his music. David? David, are you here? David, there's something I've got to tell you. David, please answer me. Quentin! I came to warn you, Quentin. They're on their way here now. Maggie and Barnabas. They think that David's here. And they know all about this room, so therefore they're coming to get him. Why are you angry with me? I came and told you, didn't I? I didn't tell them about the room, honest, Quentin. Maggie remembered it in a dream. I heard her telling Dr. Hoffman she was here before. I didn't have anything to do with it. You've got to believe that. Please don't punish me, Quentin. Please?
You will not tell Maggie. You will not tell Julia. You will not tell anyone. Especially Jeb.
Jeb?
Yes. He knew about you and you weren't here then. Somehow or other, this Quentin Collins is the same ghost who scared me before. And I'm still afraid of him.
Well, you don't need to be. Not this time. I'll take care of him. I take care of anyone who gets in my way. I'm gonna take you over to Collinwood, Amy. Pay a little visit to Carol.
Carolyn's busy right now. She's talking to a Mr. Guthrie.
Huh? I think I'll see her anyhow.
Then Dr. Hoffman found him in front of the shop, and she took him to Professor Stokes' flat, and that's where he was killed.
Thank you, Miss Stoddard. I know it hasn't been easy for you to talk about it. I also spoke to Philip Todd last night.
Poor Philip. There's been so much talk about the shop.
Do you believe any of it?
No.
Last night, I also met a young fellow named Jeb Hawkes.
Your tone tells me you didn't like him.
Yours tells me that you do.
Yes, I do. Very much. Excuse me. Hello.
Is Inspector Guthrie there? I must speak to him at once. Inspector Guthrie?
Yes?
This is Philip Todd. There's something I didn't tell you last night. I've got to talk to you.
I'll be right over.
No, not now. My wife, Megan, is here. And Jeb Hawks has gone to Collinsport, but he's coming right back. Now is not a good time.
Well, tell me when.
Tonight, 9 o'clock. Megan will be at a farm auction, and Jeb will be having dinner with Carolyn. I'll be alone.
I'll be there.
One more thing, Inspector. Don't tell Carolyn or anyone that I called.
No, of course not.
Was it important, Inspector?
It could be very important, Miss Stoddard. Very important indeed. Are you alone?
Come in, yes.
Good. Now, what is it you wanted to tell me?
How Paul Stoddard was killed and who killed him.
What? You know?
Yes, I know. It's going to be difficult for you to believe. It's an incredible story. Incredible and horrible.
You want to talk here or at the police station?
At the police station, I think. But before we go, there's something I've got to show you. A room upstairs. It's an important part of the story. This is it.
Is it unlocked?
Yes, go right in.
No! No! Let me out! Let me out! Let me out! Please open the door!
He won't ask any more questions. Now, Philip, don't be so upset. You did your job well. Megan would have been proud of you.
Megan?
You did your job very well. Now let's see if you can do the rest of it.
Jeb?
Is Barnabas here?
No.
We're supposed to meet him here. We'd like to talk to you.
To me?
Yes.
Well, I'm going out with Jeb, if he ever gets here.
Carolyn, you can't do that.
I'd like to know why not.
Well, you'll find out when Barnabas gets here.
Suppose Jeb arrives first.
I'll take care of Jeb.
Oh, Quentin, I'm sick and tired of all this. Everything becomes a mystery. I can't even have a simple dinner with someone without people acting... Quentin, I warn you. Either you tell me what's going on, or I'll go right out that door and meet Jeb in town. I'm sorry, but I've had all I can take for one day.
All right. I'll begin without Barnabas. What I want to talk to you about is your father's murderer.
My father's murder.
Yes.
You know who it is? Who?
But I've told you this much. Why don't we wait
No,
for
we're not
Barnabas?
going to wait for Barnabas. Go on, Quentin, tell me. Why is it so difficult? Is it someone I know? Is that it? Is it someone I care about? Oh, who is it? Tell me.
Jeb Hawks.
Jeb Hawks was not even in Collinsport when my father was killed.
When he was, you just couldn't realize it.
I realize much more than you think I do, Quentin. I realize that you and Barnabas are determined to keep me from seeing Jeb, and you don't care how you do it. You'll even use my grief over my father's death to keep us apart.
Carolyn, it's the truth. Jeb did murder your father.
Oh, did he? Then prove it. It's very easy to call Jeb a murderer without giving me a shred of evidence.
All right. I'll tell you everything.
Jeb.
Caroline, I couldn't come. Something just happened back at that antique shop.
What is it?
That Inspector Guthrie. He was just murdered. They got the murderer. And he's the same guy that killed the sheriff. And your father.
Who?
Caroline, this isn't going to be easy.
Who?
Philip Todd. He just confessed.